So you clicked on this video, you're wondering if you should get the Flow. Is it better than your current gimbal? Well, right off the bat, I'm gonna say that this is not like any other gimbal I've ever seen, and it's pretty amazing. And first of all, we just gotta acknowledge the design. I mean, look at this thing, it's amazing. They put like the battery and all the gear in the arm to make way for something that's really cool down here. You have your tripod just built into the bottom, which makes it a lot more convenient than having to bring a tripod with you that you have to screw in every time. There is also a screw thread on the bottom here if you need to attach it to like another tripod or mount. So it's just super convenient, and the fact that this thing just folds down really like small, and like you can put this in your pocket. It takes up like no space in your bag, and it's just a simple twist. Like watch how fast that is ready to go. And it starts up, you put your phone on there, and when you're done, you just twist it just like that. The touch wheel on here is also amazing. Like you just swipe your finger around and you can change it to your different modes that way. It also gives you a little bit of that haptic feedback. There's also a zoom wheel up here too, so when you're using the software, you can actually zoom in if you need to, and you can even set it to do other things like right here. I just have it kind of giving it like that Inception twist. And a lot of other gimbals have this too, but there's a selfie pull here that extends out, which is really nice. But what's cool about this is you can also angle it the way you want. So if you're trying to get a good selfie when you're walking, or if you're like trying to lean over and get like a really creative shot, so you can utilize that depending on how you want to get your shot. Also, if you're like in a crowded area and you just want to get some extra height, you can use that, or you can get those low shots too without having to bend over like crazy. Another really cool thing is that they have a little compartment right here that has a cold shoe mount. So if you have a light or a microphone that you want to put onto that, you could just do it right there. And if your phone battery is getting low, you can actually plug your phone in and you can charge it up like that. The second thing I want to highlight is the stabilization. Now, a lot of gimbals out there will say it's got that 3-axis stabilization, but this one uses their flow state technology to help counter against those little micro jitters that you get. Because your phone has built-in stabilization, sometimes it fights your gimbal and you see kind of micro jitters. So I love how the flow state stabilization helps to make that even more smooth. And that's exactly what you want from a gimbal. The third highlight that separates the Flow from any other gimbals is the app. And they've always been amazing with their app for their other cameras. And it's the same app and you just connect it to the Flow. And by the way, just going through it, there's so much to discover. But some things to note is that you can zoom with the zoom wheel through the app without having to change the lenses manually or having to touch the screen to change. It starts up really quickly, and all the buttons are easy to find to change resolutions and modes. They even have suggested shots and tutorials and a powerful AI, so it kind of recognizes if you're in a certain situation, and they'll have some suggestions that are like, hey, here are some creative shots that you might want to get while you're in this environment. There's also some amazing modes like hoop mode, so you could set it up and you can follow your basketball game. There's live mode, to where you can go live through any platform. You can just use those platforms and their native apps to run that live stream. There's widescreen mode if you want to get some really cinematic shots, and they look really good. And they also have the classic dolly zoom. There's slow-mo video, photos, and there's panoramic photos, which is really cool because you could set this down and you can actually capture like a 360 spot. It'll take pictures everywhere and stitch it together. I'm even thinking this could be something really good for like realtors. If you want to show off a certain room, you set this down in the middle of it and then put the pano thing on. And you can even animate that image later and just make it look like a fun little video. There's also time-lapse mode, which is great. So you can have it pan from one side to the other or the other way back, or you could even set up different waypoints and even set how much duration in between. If you have a really long time-lapse that you want to get, starting from like up here to down there, to over here, to over there. And there's time shift mode, which is like hyperlapses. So if you walk through like a crowded area or something, you can go really slow and you can get some really awesome hyperlapses. They even have gesture controls on here to track your movements. So if you're just getting in front of the camera, you can start the recording, you can make it follow you, and it will follow you all around. Which also brings me to the next one, which is the tracking. Now, other gimbals will provide tracking like this, but it's also not always accurate or very smooth. But this one, this is ridiculous. Like, you can just highlight the person or subject or even a pet, and it will follow them to perfection. Even if there's other people that get in the shot, it will still follow that person that you selected to begin with. But one of the things that I love about the whole like tracking mode is if you do have a complicated shot, it's so much easier to select a subject or a person, and then as you like walk by them or run by them, them. You don't have to worry about trying to like use the joystick to try to get it right on them and keep them centered. This will just do that for you. But that's just something that I really love about this gimbal. I highly recommend the Flow. This thing is really fun. It's just super easy to use, and it just makes you want to use it because it's that easy.